Welcome to the Get Productive podcast. I am Detola Amore, your host and productivity coach. Join me as we explore powerful tips and proven strategies to boost your productivity. Welcome back to the Get Productive with Detola podcast, your one-stop shop for practical productivity wisdom. On this podcast, we show you how to embrace the flourishing, productive life you deserve. This is episode 10. I'm so excited to be back. After a refreshing summer break, we are back in full swing, bringing you an exciting lineup of episodes. We have curated a series of guest episodes featuring remarkable women so far, who will share their unparalleled expertise and insightful perspectives on diverse topics relating to productivity. Our goal is to provide you with captivating content and engaging discussions that will inspire and empower you. So please stay tuned, whether you're new here or if you're a repeat listener, as we embark on this captivating journey together in the coming weeks. Get ready for thought-provoking conversations, practical strategies, and valuable insights that will enhance your productivity and personal growth. Now, that said, I had planned to record a series of episodes during the holiday season. In fact, I had scripted them out and was still on some of the mindsets around productivity. However, recent events such as the riots in the UK, government changes, and discussions with individuals about potential workplace shifts have prompted me to address a sensitive yet critical topic sooner than anticipated. And what is this topic? It's on the subject of grief and productivity. Why am I prioritizing this topic now? These events, like I mentioned, the riots, the changes in government, workplace changes, and this is at the time of this recording, 2024, can be emotionally draining for individuals, for teams, for organizations. And so there is an emphasis on the importance of prioritizing our mental health and emotional well-being. By addressing grief and productivity, I aim to provide guidance and strategies for coping with difficult emotions and maintaining productivity during challenging times. I would also be telling you about something exciting that we've launched here at the Productivity Company, so make sure you listen to the end. So a bit of background. Why the subject of grief, you might ask? Well, I have personally endured the pain of loss, so the topic of grief holds a special place in my heart. The loss of my beloved baby boy, Morakinyo Caleb, over 5 years ago shattered me. Oh, it did. But it also unexpectedly nourished my growth. Then 2 years after my son died, my dad passed away. Thankfully, I was able to navigate my dad's loss better because of the tools and skills I had acquired after my son died. So off the back of that and other events, my dear friend Stella and I went on to co-host a podcast titled When Life Stops. That podcast delves into our individual journeys around loss and explores the multifaceted nature of grief. So if you're interested on the subject of grief or how to deal with grief, I invite you to listen to our podcast on that podcast, When Life Stops, on any podcast platform. I think we've done 2 seasons so far and we intend to do more. However, for the Get Productive with Detola podcast, I want to explore grief from a different perspective, productivity. Now, given the significance of this topic, I will dedicate 3 episodes to it, releasing them over 3 consecutive weeks rather than following our usual fortnightly schedule. Today, I want to look at the topic beyond bereavement, managing grief, and maintaining productivity at work. And my hope with this subject today is to create some awareness around the subject of grief and some of the different type of losses that we experience that can invoke grief. And then also look at how we can maintain productivity despite grief. Now, while the loss of a loved one is significant, you would agree with me, grief can arise from various life events that impact our emotional well-being and consequently our productivity in life. But first off, let's look at the definition of grief. There are 3 definitions of grief that I love from the Grief Recovery Handbook by John W. James and Russell Friedman. And these are those definitions. Grief is the human emotional response to significant loss. Grief is normal, natural, and unique to an individual. Grief is the conflicting feelings caused by the end of or change in a familiar pattern of behavior. Now, you will notice that with these 3 definitions of grief, there is no reference to death in any of the statements. And this is because grief is a set of emotions that is not confined only to bereavement. Like I mentioned, grief can stem from other life events. And we can have several losses, both tangible and intangible losses. And some of them include bereavement, which I already touched on briefly, the loss of a loved one through death. Grief can be evoked when you lose your job, and because this can affect your financial stability and self-esteem. A divorce, the end of a relationship, can lead to feelings of loss, sadness, and loneliness. Or maybe the end of a romantic relationship or even friendships. That's a huge one. Moving. Even positive changes like moving to a new home, a new city, a new country can invoke a sense of loss and adjustments. Beyond personal life events, grief can also manifest within the workplace. And some examples are losing your job due to downsizing or restructuring. This can be a devastating loss. Organizational changes such as mergers and acquisitions can disrupt routines, relationships, and even job security, leading to feelings of loss. Positive changes like promotions, a new role, can involve a sense of loss as you adjust to new responsibilities and challenges. Relocating to a new country for work, so this is, expatriates. When you move to a new country for work, there can be that sense of loss of your familiar surroundings, your social connections, your family, your extended family, or your support system. Racism in the workplace can have devastating consequences, leading to a loss of safety and trust among colleagues and within the organization as a whole. Employees who experience hostility or toxicity at work may struggle to feel safe and secure, which can invoke grief and impact on one's productivity and overall well-being. Like I mentioned earlier, the 2024 UK riots arose from economic grievances, political discontent, social tensions, and they resulted in widespread looting, arson, clashes with the police, loss of life, and it eroded safety and public trust in the government. This experience for many brought about the feelings of grief and loss of faith in society. Now, sometimes grief can be more subtle and less easy to recognize. These are often referred to as disenfranchised losses. And this is a type of loss that society or other people in our world often dismiss or would not acknowledge. And some examples of this are maybe a loss of a dream. Not achieving a desired goal or career path can lead to a sense of loss. Loss of identity. When roles, responsibilities, and expectations change, our sense of self can be profoundly affected, leading to an intense sense of loss. The feeling of powerlessness or lacking control over situations can evoke feelings of grief. Other examples of disenfranchised losses are things like infertility, abortion, or the loss of a beloved pet. These are losses that society might not necessarily recognize, but are equally painful for the griever. Now, grief can manifest itself in various ways, depending on the individual. But the bottom line is that grief can affect our productivity and our well-being. So what are some common symptoms to look out for in yourself, or maybe a colleague or a team member at work? It ranges from things like emotional turmoil, sadness. Someone is constantly sad. They're angry. They feel anxious. These are common emotional responses to grief. If you find yourself feeling tired, changes in your appetite, difficulty sleeping, these are some physical manifestations of grief. When you withdraw from social events, you avoid people, or maybe you find yourself engaging in substance abuse, lots of alcohol, these are also possible behavioral responses to grief. If you find it hard to focus on your work, or you find it hard to maintain attention, it is a sign that you are probably grieving. But the thing is, many of us don't realize that we are grieving, but these symptoms can help you recognize there's something wrong. Now let's look at navigating grief while maintaining productivity. And we know this can be challenging. You're trying to be productive while navigating the emotions that come with grief is challenging. I know personally, when my son died, I was not productive in any way. I could not focus. I could not concentrate. I was a shadow of myself. It was tough. And I think I'll talk a bit more about that on the next episode. But for now, let me share some tips to cope with grief on a very high level. Firstly, it's acknowledging and validating the emotions that you feel, not suppressing your emotions. You need to acknowledge and validate those emotions. You need to seek support from friends, family, or even a grief specialist like myself. Prioritizing self-care activities is very crucial when you are navigating grief. And also, you need to set realistic expectations for yourself, and also make those in your world, maybe your manager, make them aware. Okay? And it's also about communicating openly with your manager if your grief is impacting your work significantly. Now, these are very high level, right? Very high level tips. But the key thing is about acknowledging and validating your emotion. There's a whole lot more, but for today's episode, we'll keep it there. If you're a manager, creating a supportive and empathetic work environment is crucial. This can be achieved by fostering a culture where your employees, your team members feel safe sharing their experiences. Offer flexible work arrangements for someone who's grieving. And lead by example. Take care of yourself as well. Okay? Take care of yourself. Lead by example. By demonstrating empathy and understanding, managers can create a positive and supportive work environment for their employees. The truth is, grief is a complex emotion that can affect us in various ways. By recognizing and addressing the different type of losses, whether personal or professional, can help us better navigate challenges and maintain our productivity. Now, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to share something exciting. My team and I in the productivity company want to support organizations in this area. And so I'm really excited to say that we are launching the Grief Awareness Workplace Training, Strategies for Resilience and Productivity. This comprehensive virtual training program will equip every employee with the essential tools and knowledge to delve deeper into some of the topics we already discussed today and much more. Participants will learn how to identify and understand the emotions associated with their own grief and others. They will learn how to provide effective support to grieving employees and how to minimize the impact of grief on productivity. Additionally, the training will cover a wide range of other topics relating to grief in the workplace. Now, in the past, the productivity company that I run has collaborated with organizations such as the NHS, BT, EY to conduct grief lunch and learn sessions. And so building upon these experiences, we now want to empower more organizations to become more grief aware and grief sensitive. We aim to offer 1 or 2 complimentary pilot sessions for each organization that is interested based on their size, provided that the booking is made by September 30th, 2024. The purpose of these pilot sessions is to showcase the benefits of the training program and emphasize the significance of addressing grief in the workplace. If we increase the awareness of grief among employees, it can positively impact staff productivity, team dynamics, and the company's overall financial performance. There are lots of benefits for organizations that invest in a grief awareness training such as this. In just 60 minutes, this grief awareness training can boost employee morale and productivity by creating a supportive and empathetic workplace culture. It would also help managers and staff handle challenging and sensitive cultural situations with confidence. It will also provide employees with tools to effectively manage their grief, promoting a positive and inclusive work environment. By introducing this training to your organization, it will reflect your commitment as an employer to your staff's well-being and show that you acknowledge the importance of mental and emotional health. So to register for this training, or if you want additional information, please visit the registration page on our website. We'll put the details in the show notes. If you're listening to this podcast and believe it will be valuable to your organization, don't hesitate to explore the link, share it with your director, your manager, HR professionals, so that they can take advantage of this opportunity. Truly, we have limited spaces, and we want to be able to cater to as many organizations as we can. If you're a CEO, a CPO, a director, HR professional, or maybe a well-being leader listening to this episode, investing in this training program is an investment in the well-being of your employees and the overall success of your organization. On the next episode, I will be sharing on the topic, the true cost of grief, unseen impact on productivity. This is one topic you don't want to miss. And in fact, if you know any HR person, any CPOs, any CEOs, any directors, get them to listen to this episode because this is very, very key. And if you're grieving the loss of a loved one or a lost dream or whatever loss you may be experiencing now, I'm giving you a hug from here. And please remember, it's okay to seek help and prioritize your well-being during this difficult period. Feel free to share your experiences with grief with me. You can do so by commenting on any of the podcast platforms you're listening from, or you can send me an email to hello@detolaamory.com. And then, like I said, share this episode with someone who you know will find this useful. As I close off today's episode, remember, grief is a natural part of life, and it is essential to acknowledge and address it to help you maintain well-being and your productivity. So until next time, take care of you, and please reach out to support if you need it. God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Get Productive podcast. Till next time, stay blessed.